Now, here to react to this is former Navy SEAL, former governor, and now Missouri U.S. Senate candidate Eric Greitens. Eric, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to ask you, in light of your experience, particularly in the military, do you believe right now that in the United States, soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines, are they making a rational choice, a relatively high percentage, a minority to be sure, but a high percentage of them, are they making a rational choice to say, I am young, I am fit, I'm not vulnerable to the virus, I don't need this vaccine, thank you very much?
Yeah, Steve, there can be no forced vaccinations in the military. And I'm so grateful to you and to the team at Newsmax for covering this issue and covering it rationally with evidence. Not only are the statistics that you pointed out accurate, Steve, but we also have strong evidence of adverse effects from the vaccine. Just recently, the Journal of the American Medical Association Cardiology Journal pointed out that cases of heart inflammation are higher than expected among members of the military. In Israel, Steve, where, as you know, there is mandatory military conscription, and they rolled out this vaccine very quickly. Now, even the World Health Organization has admitted that the vaccine causes, in many cases, heart inflammation. Just the other day, wasn't covered by the mainstream media, but just the other day, the FDA put out a new warning label on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, warning that it causes a rare, but serious neurological disorder. The fact is, these are all effects that we didn't know were going to happen until the vaccine rolled out, which makes the obvious point, which you hammered home, Steve, no one knows what or how serious the long-term effects of this vaccine are. So there can be no forced vaccination, Steve, and we need to have leaders, conservatives and patriots, stand up to protect people's God-given liberties, especially our service members, and make clear to the Biden administration, because the Congress has power of the purse, that they are not allowed to spend 1 penny of taxpayer dollars on forced vaccinations of American citizens. We have to draw the line here, Steve.
Eric, Steve touched on what's happening over in Europe. They've got this health pass. It's their digital passport, essentially. You show a QR code to get into events to show that you've been vaccinated. In France, they're saying as soon as August, it could be required to go into a restaurant. A lot of people are saying, is this going to happen here? I want you to take a listen to what a doctor said on CNN the other day, Dr. Leanna Wen, what she had to say about the unvaccinated.
What we really need to do at this point is to make vaccination the easy choice. It needs to be hard for people to remain unvaccinated.
It needs to be hard for people to remain unvaccinated. Is that where we're headed in this country?
It is where we're headed, Jen. And look, you and Steve, I'm so grateful to you guys for pulling these clips and showing Newsmax viewers what's really happening. They're finally willing to say out loud what their agenda has been clearly all along. This is a tyrannical agenda where they are trying to enforce, without regard to reason, science, or the evidence, their own political views. It's happening in communities across the country, and we have to draw the line. It must not happen in the United States military.
Eric, I want to ask you, as a former warrior, I probably shouldn't say former, because once you're a Green Beret, you're always a warrior, but as an experienced warrior, how about that? Somebody who has served our country all over the world in multiple deployments. I want to ask you if you worry that the military, in terms of Pentagon leadership, are they taking their eye off the ball here? Are they engaging in political narrative rather than force readiness? And if you're concerned about that, what would you do about it if you are indeed elected to the Senate?
Yeah, I'm seriously worried about it, Steve. Let's be clear. The purpose of the United States military is to kill America's enemies and to win our wars. That is the purpose of the United States military. The focus of military leadership should be on preparing a lethal force that is capable of doing exactly that. And unfortunately, when you see things like critical race theory being promoted by leaders in the military, this is designed to actually divide what is historically one of the most unified, integrated, well-functioning institutions, not just in the history of the country, Steve, but in the history of the planet. One of the most effective and well-integrated institutions in the history of planet Earth has been the U.S. military, because we all come together and we serve a common mission as Americans. That is what our leaders need to focus on.
Eric, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to respond to this. There was a headline that came out on Friday. You know, we've got a big MAGA crowd watching here on Cortes and Pellegrino. Politico Playbook saying Guilfoyle signs up with Greitens and incurs Trump's wrath. In Playbook, they're saying that she's profiting off of Trump's name. There are concerns that Guilfoyle working with you looks like an endorsement. How do you respond to Politico? And if this is true, what's your response to President Trump?
Well, I think what's very clear is that you've always had political insiders in the swamp in D.C. who use anonymous sources to put out false stories. The facts are very clear. President Trump just appointed Kimberly Guilfoyle to chair his national effort to raise funds to promote the America First agenda. Clearly, he's supportive of Kimberly Guilfoyle, and we are honored to have her on the campaign. We're honored to have, in fact, so many strong America First fighters who've been fighting for President Trump. In fact, just 2 days ago, Jen, we had Rudy Giuliani and Bernie Kerik right here in Missouri for a rally with hundreds of America First patriots. They know where to go for the truth. It's not the swamp. They're coming to places like Newsmax because you guys are covering the real truth.
Eric, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
You bet, Jen. Steve, thank you guys so much.